You look so much more intimidating when I'm this far back.
You're often intimidating. I kind of like this. Hides my gut a little bit.
Oh, there you go.
All right. All right, Low Traders. It is time for episode 7. Everything's late and nobody dies. And that pretty much sums it up right now.
I'm this close to the latter because of the former.
Well, this is perfect because today's episode we're going to be talking about our pet peeves in the comic industry, the comic hobby.
This is Starbucks. It's not. Oh, it's a well-known chain, not a well-known chain from Ireland, which it looks like, which I will be indulging in later.
Yeah, it's been a challenging one for you this week.
It's been a dark crisis, one could say. It's a good week for that to come out.
Yeah.
Oh, good God. What a mess. The next week's DC books we got on Tuesday.
Just in time for New Comic Book Day.
Or no, Wednesday on New Comic Book Day.
On New Comic Book Day.
And then this week's, I feel like I'm Walter White. Is that a fly?
It is.
Oh my God. Jesse, leave it. We've got to get this place clean before the guests come.
What you don't know is we're gonna try something new. I'm not gonna edit this. We're gonna shoot 45 minutes straight and call it a day.
Oh, good.
So no cuts.
No cuts. All right. Except the well-known coffee chain.
Hey, if they want to sponsor, I drink coffee.
Yeah, there you go. All right.
Comics on coffee. That's good stuff. I don't know if you've had that, but that's great coffee.
I have read comics on other things.
The lady that owns the company is an artist, and she puts comics on the coffee bags. They're fantastic.
Oh, that's great.
You should sell it in here. I'd buy it.
I would buy a Robin Williams one. That's a different comic. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, so we just got this morning right before opening. 3 days late actually.
Yeah.
My pet peeve right now is honestly the way DC is doing business.
It's pretty bad. Accentuated by the fact that Rob Liefeld agrees with you. He's been tweeting about it all morning.
He has?
Yeah, about how they're running things over at DC on a creative standpoint, end.
Here it is, Rob. I fully agree with you. And your Moon Knight cover was actually really good. It was really good. Okay. Anyway, yeah. Oh my God, what are they doing? They said a couple months ago, right? They're handing all the DC stuff and all that over to Discovery,
right?
Which is not selling it like a lot of people think. I think they need to be much more clear on the things they say here. They're not selling it to Discovery. They're merging with Discovery. AT&T did, and then they don't know what to do with DC, so they said, here you go. I'm sure there's a good pun in there here, every now and again with Discovery. Let's discover what's new at DC. God, I know with the bad puns that they do in their ads, they're going to do it. But that was what, a couple months ago? And then the last month, I have had 2 completely jacked up, late, lost, everything else shipments. It has been, this is the worst I've seen, Lunar, or any of the DC distribution. This is the worst 2 years out. This is the kind of stuff I really thought was going to happen when they first did it. Now, it was a bit of a mess then, okay?
Yeah.
But it was nothing like this. They've had two years to perfect their ups. That was good. That was not bad. They've had 2 years to perfect how they screw stuff up. And it's like, that's what they did. They took those 2 years and said, okay, well, we did things okay for that first year. Let's see how much worse we can make it. I swear to God. Yeah. So that's the DC, AT&T, or whatever they are, offices.
Yeah, so Wednesday morning, you got next week's shipment, Wednesday morning.
Uh-huh.
You open the doors. We came in. Because you get a line outside the door Wednesday mornings.
Yeah.
Everybody comes in. You're running around scrambling, trying to get DC's books up on the shelves.
Because they were late.
And then that's when you realize they're next week's books.
Yeah. And it also was lovely because it's like, what, 3 Batman books this week, 3 Batman books next week, a Pride special this week, a Pride special next week,
Right.
Nubia this week, Naomi next week. It's the shipping is so similar that I'm not surprised I didn't catch it. Why would I
Right.
be looking for next week's to be here before this week's?
Right.
Especially when most of the books are almost exactly the same. Like I don't understand how that could have happened.
And then this week showed up today,
Yeah, about an hour ago.
3 days ago.
Yeah. Actually, it's a week late, and because usually we get
Right.
them the week
Right.
before.
Yeah.
So next week's was actually on time, but last week's was a week late. So I thought, and
You know, and one complaint that I hear from other friends that own comic shops is they'll get their lunar shipment on Wednesday
mhm,
for the following week. This is when it's working right.
yes,
They get it on Wednesday for the following week, and you don't even know if the shipment's right. You don't have an invoice. Like, you got to wait until they release the invoice. And,
yeah, they don't release the invoice, and then as soon as they release the invoice, they send you a thing going, hurry, pay your invoice.
and then you don't have time to reconcile to make sure that the order's correct.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Then that's like, well, I guess I have to hurry and pay for my invoice then. Because they send these emails going, you have an invoice due. And by the way, other friends that have comic shops,
Yeah, I got a couple. Well, they're not really friends, more okay, they don't like me much.
okay, I just want to make sure this was not any sort of an open relationship. I would be uncomfortable with that.
This is still the shop I buy my books from.
You're my one and only, Sir Baloney. I don't know what that means.
I don't know.
Anyway, yeah, my God, I don't
crazy.
understand how, I don't understand how they expect anybody to do business like this. And I was all happy because I'm like, oh my God, man, the new Batgirls is out because Jorge Corona, the artist for Batgirls, is going to be here tomorrow signing.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, this is great, man. I don't even need to put them up. I put a couple up there. I fill the holes. I put them all on a table right in front of him. And I'm like, oh, no, I can't. So, so they're sitting in a box back there. And now I've had customers that have literally come in 4 days in a row to get the DC stuff.
Right.
They came in Tuesday because DC advertises because they have to be different. They advertised, oh well, you can buy ours on Tuesday
Right.
before Marvel, and then it doesn't get here. So people come in because that's all they talk about. And then Wednesday, I still know a lot of shops are like, screw it, man, we're not playing their game, and we're putting them out on Wednesday. But you can't even put them out on Wednesday. So then they come in Wednesday looking for them. And I kept getting shipping updates saying they're going to be here tomorrow. And then that day they'd say, oh, nope, it's delayed. They're going to be here the next day. So we're small businesses. Like, there are a handful of comic shops that are not small businesses. And I don't know how they expect us to stay around to keep giving them money. Because it's just, all the things that were crap in Diamond are really inching their way in there, and it's since they took on so many more publishers.
Right.
Yes, this is live. Hey, what's up?
Where do we put the second prints of Justice League 75?
Oh, they're right up there. You mean the special editions?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the other thing. Second prints of Justice League 75 says Justice League Special Edition.
And it's
just a second print. And then the other ones that they put out, the other second prints today, Deathstroke and Robin, those say second printing.
That's what you were saying, referring back to, I think it was last week, when you had mentioned that, like, it's like back in the 90s. Now your reprints are special editions.
Yeah.
And, let's put a foil corner on this book. To drive up the value of it.
The only thing that's special about it is they didn't sell out in the first place. This one actually did because of all the hype, because Justice League's dead again. See the latter portion of our title. Yeah, they'll never be back. Justice League's never going to come back. Never, 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 never. So now they're doing that, and now it's going to confuse people because they're like, oh, it's special edition, Justice League special edition.
Right.
Now are they doing a Justice League Day 2? What's going on? And no, they're not. So I don't know. It's a mess. It's a mess. And I really think I think mom and dad got to get back together again. I think all these distribution companies need to come back, renegotiate their deals with Diamond, and if they want to go through, as much as I'm annoyed by the whole Penguin Random House thing, they didn't instigate it the right way because they completely lied about it and said, yeah, we're coming back strong, Diamond Comics and everything.
Right.
And then 2 months after that, they were like, but they need to, I feel, get back together, give us all the same discount, no matter where we buy them. If we get them from Diamond or Random House, that needs to be the same discount, and they can't undercut the main distributor because it's just petty and it's literally to hurt them. That's all it is. Because they're mad and they're upset and blah 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 and whatever. But they're being so petty. They are being like little kids. Like, well, I'll kick you before you kick me.
Well, there has to be some incentive there for DC. Like they wouldn't have gone from Diamond to Lunar if there wasn't some incentive for them to do so.
Well, I can tell you what the incentives are. They're taking Lunar and initially Midtown were taking a smaller cut of their profits than Diamond was.
Right.
And then they negotiated, this is conjecture, but then, in my opinion, they negotiated with Lunar to then undercut Midtown, which tells you don't work with DC. If you on the creative end, okay, fine, yeah, sure, whatever. I've heard some things about that too, but for the most part, I've heard on the creative end, okay, yeah, fine, whatever. We're just doing comics. We're happy we're doing comics right now. So, but on the administrative end and the corporate end, man, never deal with those guys. Never deal with them. They will do everything they can to undercut you and screw you over. And I feel like it was not a terrible idea to do that. Initially, again, give us a choice. And their whole thing was, we're getting rid of this monopoly, but you can't get rid of a monopoly by making another monopoly. It doesn't work like that. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, it shows my biggest issue with everything that's happened with distribution at this point is it really hurts the people that keeps them going. It hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts the collectors.
Mm-hmm.
Like I walked in here to get Poison Ivy on Wednesday and I couldn't get it.
Where is it?
It wasn't here.
Yeah.
I mean, I could go down the street and get it.
But then, we're monogamous.
But then, exactly. If at that point, if I walk into your shop and say,
"Sorry, Kat, you didn't know that, did you?" Sorry. Anyway,
no, you do you.
Happy Pride Month.
I mean, it's as a collector, I want to support my shop. This is where I come and have my Wednesday morning conversations and talk to those guys and make fun of Beck.
It's where we hang out.
Everything that's going on.
Right.
If I were to then go down the street and buy it from the other guys, then I'd feel, you feel a little bit dirty doing stuff like that.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, look, we have a special guest.
Nice.
That's what happens when you're live, huh?
Yeah.
No, it's kind of the relationship between comic collectors and readers and their shop. It's like a sacred thing.
Yeah, that's kind of what.
You know what I mean? It's as weird as it sounds. It's a very sacred thing. Before I opened this shop, the shop that I was using, I was like, oh yeah, I think this is where I go. I tried other things out, and I was like, oh, let's give it a shot, and then I just figured, screw it, I just want to do my own thing. I just want to give it a shot now.
Right.
And I did. And people come in here, and they've, most people.
Yeah, but at least you have a
there are some that support everybody, and I think that that's great too. You support everybody out there with something in some way, and that's great because that keeps the industry whole and alive, right? But the majority of the people will come in here, and they're like, "Hi, Greg," and I'm like, "Hey, Aaron. Hey, Kai. Hey, oh yeah, Aaron. Hey, Kai. Hi, Jason. Hi, Jace. All these people that come in on a regular basis, we're on a first name basis. We see each other outside of the shop.
Right.
You know, I tell people the 3 places that I run into customers more than anywhere are metal concerts, Pride events, and Costco. That's fully true. Like, I see half of my customers in those 3 places. You know what I mean? And yeah, if you guys didn't know, because of my attire, I do kind of like the heavy metal
A
stuff
little bit.
a little bit. Yeah, but anyway, I was thinking of, I can't even probably say their name without getting sued, but I was thinking just to poke the bear to put Metallica on, because they just hate everyone. But
Yeah.
we don't want to get sued. Not yet. We're not there yet.
But it's funny because we've really got 3 comic shops in town. 3 comic shops. There's a couple others, a game store that sells some books, and a cafe.
A lot of those places,
books.
and a lot of those places are getting out of it.
Yeah,
because they can't do it anymore.
But yeah, and I buy all my comics here. I have holds at the other 2 stores, but the only thing I buy there are Spawn. I buy Spawn from all 3 stores because it's $2.99. You got to support Spawn,
right? And Todd, we are looking for sponsors. Sponsorship.
Nice. We could do something with that.
Hashtag Todd McFarlane.
But I get really lucky because the other stores, I can buy my Magic cards because you don't do that. So
right.
I don't feel guilty. I get to go there. I buy my D&D stuff. I buy my Magic
There's
cards.
your Magic cards.
And
They're
then
not there.
I buy my Legos from John.
I did that to a kid that came in one time and asked for Magic cards. They said, and he was really mad. He's like, "Why don't you have Magic cards?" And I said, "Oh, here's one. Where'd it go?" And he looked at me and he goes, "Ah," and just walked out.
You know, that has gotten to be pretty ubiquitous too. And that's kind of on the pet peeve thing. It's a little bit of a pet peeve for me. Like, if you're going to be a comic store, be a comic store.
Yeah.
I mean, at least the other guys in town, they don't bill themselves as a comic store. They're
a
nerd store.
They're a collectible place.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, so.
And they do,
comics and games and blah, 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 whatever. But
clothing. My cool belt came from there. Yeah.
There you go. So,
really cool Batman belts.
I think things are maybe starting to head toward that. Like I said, there are some game shops around town that are just fully getting out of comics.
Right.
You know, and I mean, yeah, I've got some Funko Pops and some action figures and stuff, you know, but it's all comic related stuff.
Right.
You know, statues, T-shirts, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, you don't have like the Seinfeld Funko Pops.
Right, yeah, I don't. And somebody comes in and goes, "Hey, do you want to buy this box of Funko Pops?" And there's, you know, there is a Seinfeld pop or there's a Harry Potter pop or something like that. Then yeah, okay, yeah, sure, I'll throw them up there. But I usually throw them up there for cheap because I'm not a Funko guy.
Yeah.
You know, I've got a small collection of my own. And when I mean small, like the tiny horror ones. You know? And I've got like the Batman Vampire and an Alice Cooper one and stuff like that. You know, and that's about it. Because I just, you know, I'm not a super fan of Funkos because I understand how people can be. I get it. You know, believe me, I get it. But for me, it's just a bunch of little plastic fellows with large heads that look like they're on amphetamines, look like Roberto Reynos to them. Like, you know, it's just not my thing. But I get if it is, but that's why I don't do it that much.
Right.
It's, you know, same with gaming, cards, things like that. I understand why people love that stuff, but that's not my center of gravity, and I don't want to tip over trying to do it.
Yeah,
that was a hell of an analogy. That was really good.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
That'd be like you have the big head. Like,
yeah, we're recording this, right?
Playing for the 80s
we're not
and the 90s.
We're not just shooting the breeze. We're actually recording this, right? Yeah, that's good. I got to revisit that sometime. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So we just picked up another subscriber. It's going to be Greg. He's going to finally subscribe to the channel.
I did.
Oh, okay. I lost like 20 subs overnight. It was really weird. YouTube's doing this weird thing.
Really?
Yeah, it's disheartening. But that's a different podcast.
Okay.
So distribution is obviously something we harp on a lot.
Huge problem.
Because it is an ongoing, and it affects every single aspect of the hobby. Because no matter what topic we choose, we can always throw distribution in there as being part of the problem.
That wrench always gets in.
Yeah.
Wrench grinds my gears.
And another one, and this is my pet peeve, my big one, and I use the term a lot because it just irritates out of me, the bro collectors.
Hmm.
I cannot stand the bro collectors.
And see, we're in a different spot with that.
Now, I don't mind
You know what I mean?
speculators. I think that's a different.
Oh no, that's a different thing.
That's
That's
a
a
different thing
totally different
altogether.
thing.
I'm talking about the, bro, you got to get this because it's the next big thing, and
Yeah,
like, bro, this is the one you have to have, and they use
yeah.
that as a basis to gatekeep the
Hmm.
hobby.
Yeah,
They're like, bro, you can't read The Closet. It's not Marvel.
right.
Like,
Yeah,
bro, The Closet was an excellent book.
yeah,
I read comics. I don't just
right.
sell
Yeah,
them. I don't
you know, it's
just press them. I read my books.
that's like saying, oh man, you know what? You can't watch the next whatever movie. It's not distributed by Paramount.
Right.
What are you talking about, man? Who cares? The
Yeah.
actor, the directors, they go from studio to studio. The creators go from publisher to publisher. It doesn't matter. And if you like it, read it. If you don't.
And
And that's gatekeeping is a big thing
yeah,
anyway.
yeah,
And that definitely factors into that. Now I the way I handle stuff like that in my store, somebody comes in, and I think you've seen this before, when they're like, "Oh, dude, seriously, man? Oh my God, you're reading that?" I just say, "Look, everybody's got different tastes. Everybody enjoys different things. I enjoy stupid books and terrible movies and cheesy, crappy music a lot. But you know what? That's what I enjoy. I'm not going to tell you to do it, so please don't tell me to. I mean, I don't say exactly like that, but I say, look, everybody enjoys different things, and that's part of what makes this whole thing great and what keeps it going."
yeah. The reason this one's really sticking out to me today is I don't know if you said. And spoiler alerts for Miss Marvel. Have you seen the new Miss Marvel on Disney Plus?
No, I have not.
Okay.
I know this sounds really weird, but as soon as I watch The Boys, I'll watch that right after.
It is.
I don't even know how that.
It is a palate cleanser for the boys.
I'll
sure.
bet.
I'm
Yeah.
So I watched. I've seen it twice now. I ended up watching it a second time because the first time I watched it, I was like, I'm not. I don't think so. And then I saw a lot of these bro collectors on Facebook and social media today, and they were just railing against, that's not what Miss Marvel looks like. Why do they have to go woke? Why, and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, really? Have you ever
It is what
picked
Ms.
up
Marvel
a comic
looks like.
book?
It's exactly what Ms. Marvel looks like.
It's not what Carol Danvers' Miss Marvel looked
Right.
like.
She's Captain Marvel.
But she was Miss Marvel for a minute there.
She was. But also Captain Marvel is
Right.
not what Shazam looks like. But Shazam's a ripoff of Superman. So how far back do we want to go with this?
Right.
Come on.
And after watching it, I mean, it's a fantastic show. It is everything that the comic book is. It's a superhero for a younger generation.
Mm.
She's a teenager, and you can't in one breath say, I don't want to hypersexualize teenagers and then be pissed because they don't hypersexualize this character.
Right.
Like that use your head.
Yeah.
It's very
that's
much
asking a lot.
Yeah. It's very much a YA Disney Plus YA Marvel title, and they pull it off extremely well. I mean, it's going to pull that whole audience. Like, you've got representation from, the brown kids out there, from the LGBTQ community and all that. They're going to be brought into our hobby because they see this character that they can relate to.
And see, I love that.
Oh, it's fantastic.
I haven't watched it. It's not, we talked about this briefly before. It's not the show that I was like, yes, thank God they're making it. I mean, I don't really care for the character that much. I read the first appearance and I was like, meh. I understand they've done a lot more with her since then. They've made her a character instead of, when she first showed up, she seemed like a gimmick. But from what I understand, they've really made her, and I'm not saying she is a gimmick, but they've really fleshed out the character, they've made her enjoyable, and they've really done a great job. G.O. Wilson is a fantastic writer. I love her stuff.
I think, to her credit, that I think when they first came out with that character was meant to be a gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's bring in, let's cash grab over here.
Yeah.
And that's why they created that particular character, that ethnicity.
Sure.
And but when she was writing it, she put so much of her and her life experience into it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's real. It's real because it comes from a place of reality.
I would liken that to the Iceman situation.
Yeah.
You know, in which, you know, yeah, Bendis definitely, you know, had Iceman come out as a gimmick.
Right.
It didn't make sense, and people were upset. I didn't really care. I'm like, okay, you know, I'm gonna read the X-Men anyway. It's not a real person. I can deal with this. I can be okay, you know. But then when Cena Grace took over and started writing it, he made that character his. That is his character. You know what I mean? And he really made that gimmick character into a hell of a good character, and did a great job. You know, I still think it would have made more sense if he was bi instead of gay.
Right.
Because, you know, there's a lot of backstory there and a lot of years, you know, of a pattern of behavior for that character. Now, I'm not saying people can't come out after they've been playing straight their whole life. You know, I'm not saying that at all. And, you know, every character, every person, every whatever has a right to be who they are. And that's a fantastic thing, and it should be applauded. But I just don't know that they did that right. But then he came in and just made him the character that he is now, which is a great character. He took it from a supporting gimmick to a main character that really works. And although I haven't read Ms. Marvel, I feel like that's the same thing that you Will also did. And I saw this morning, I was reading, it's just been review bombed, and, you know, oh, stupid woke Disney. It's like, oh my god, seriously?
I didn't get that. Either time I watched it, I didn't get that at all. But I've been seeing that a lot.
Yeah. So,
today.
you know, so somebody is inclusive, so that means it's bad?
Yeah.
I don't understand that. I don't get that. If it is a gimmick, then yeah, that's not what we need.
And I think,
but if it's real and organic, that is what we need.
I do feel tying that back into my original point there. I do feel a lot of that has to do with these bro collectors.
Mm-hmm.
They went out, they heard, oh, Disney Plus is doing Miss Marvel. I'm going to go buy, you know, Captain Marvel, whatever issue it is when she changed her name, and that's going to be my next. And then they sent it
that's
to
the next
CGC,
thing. It's
and
like, oh, that's not.
They
that's not
invested $100, and it comes back a completely different character.
Mm-hmm. And wouldn't that suck if you had to, you know, pay $20 for a book and read it and enjoy it?
Yeah.
What a terrible experience you would have.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that is seriously
just the whole gatekeeping mentality. And I also get in a lot of conversations. It's particularly on TikTok. There's a lot of female comic book content creators on TikTok. And one thing that I hear a lot from that camp is, you know, the misogyny that happens in comic book stores.
Mm-hmm.
And
so much, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I don't see it. I don't see it. And it's because I don't see it.
Well, and also I try and shut it down when it happens.
It does not
I
happen
change
in
the
this
subject.
store.
I say, hey, let's be nice. I shut it down and I change the subject and I make sure that it doesn't happen in here, because this is an inclusive store. It should be. Everywhere you go in should be inclusive. If you walk into a place and you got money in your pocket and you're going to give it to them, they should respect that, and they should say thank you, come again. That's it.
And it's interesting to me is we live in.
I'm getting pissed.
it really irks me. But what I find interesting is they talk about this on TikTok primarily, and I'm like, I don't get it. It doesn't relate to me, because I really just don't see it. And it's not. I mean, this is my store, and I love Black Cat, but it's not just Black Cat. You cannot walk into a comic store in Utah and see that type of behavior. John's got, like, his daughters run the comics. Like, they know everything about it. And like the people down at the other place, they've got female employees that really know their stuff and are really into comics. And
my daughter works here. You know, I mean, that's I was the token straight for a bit. Then we hired Johnny, so I ruined that. But whatever.
But we've got.
But why shouldn't you walk in here? Why shouldn't you? If this is your passion, why the hell shouldn't you be able to do it?
Yeah, I don't. And I feel kind of insulated on this issue because I just don't see. I don't see misogyny in comic shops. It's just something that I don't personally witness.
And the weird thing is,
you don't see it ever though.
Well, but the weird thing is, if you're going to see it anywhere, it would be like a serious conservative religious red state,
right?
Which is where we are,
right?
But I think a lot of that has to do with the area that we live in, though, too. Because if you go down south, you're going to see that more than likely.
Mm-hmm.
If you get the farther away you
Possibly,
get from the
possibly.
center of the state and the capital of the state and the metropolitan center of the state, we're not. I mean, we're not. Nobody would really come here and say, "Wow, Salt Lake City, Utah, is so diverse. Wow, look at all the different people."
It is very diverse.
But consider that in comparison to the rest of the state, Salt Lake is super diverse, really diverse. Now, maybe not to other parts of the country. Okay, you're not going to go to New York and it's going to look just like Salt Lake. That's not the way. But we're also not New York. We're not a major coastal metropolitan city. Okay. But I feel the further you get away from here, the more you do see that. You get out in the boonies, you get out in the smaller towns that may have one shop out there. You know what I mean? That's
I've
going to
been to
happen
those.
a little bit
I'm trying
more.
to think. We've done a lot of traveling in the last couple of years, and I've hit every comic book shop along the way. And Portland, extremely diverse.
That's Portland.
But again, that's Portland. Like, they've got 12 comic shops, and extremely diverse.
They're all high. They're all a bunch of hopheads.
I think. See, and my way of thinking is it's more to do with the fact that it's a comic book shop, and comic books themselves are so inclusive and so diverse.
Well, and comic fans have always been the outsiders.
Right.
Until recently. Now all of a sudden we're the cool kids. I mean, I would almost, check off my bingo card on how many threats I got to get my ass kicked when I was in, junior high and high school because I listened to metal, I watched horror movies, and I read comics, and those were not the things that you did.
Yeah.
And, and now, my God, that is mainstream now. All three of those things are, which is weird, but it's very odd.
Yeah, I joined the baseball team so I could pass.
I passed on the baseball team because they didn't want to join. So how about that?
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that I don't think there's a super problem here with that, but I mean, you go to I've been to years ago, 10 years ago probably. I stopped by a shop in Idaho. I can't even remember where it is, which is more conservative than here, and there was nobody but just white dudes talking about how hot Psylocke looked in there. Like, nobody but that. I've been to a shop in Wyoming years ago. Same thing. And I think it's more the or less urban areas, and I don't mean urban like MTV would say.
Right.
I mean urban, like the actual definition. It's more those areas, I think, that have that sort of thing going on.
That's funny because Norse Comics and More in Casper, Wyoming, a very conservative town, Casper, Wyoming. You go into Norse Comics and the owner is trans. Puts out. I think I showed you the comic book that he did. Put out his very own trans. I brought you a copy even.
I think you did.
I think I did. Put out his own trans superhero comic book. Very cool stuff. So,
but I mean, it's Casper, Wyoming. Casper is the ghost of Richie Rich, and Richie Rich ain't straight.
No matter how you slice it.
No matter how you slice it. No, I don't care how many billions he has and how many special dogs. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. But yeah, I think there's always the exception to what a lot of people I think consider the rule. But again, you look at stuff online. Who's the loudest? Is the person that's upset about something. And with that stuff, rightfully upset about it, of course. But you're not. The internet's not a place for positivity. You're not going to go on the internet and find how wonderful the world is. You're going to go on the internet. You're going to see that Disney and Marvel are woke, and Disneyland's woke, and Biden sucks, and Star Wars is dumb, and
and that's
all you're going to see.
I saw all that this morning.
Yeah,
just this morning,
and that's all you're going to see. Well,
Right.
you have to do Pride. Where's my Pride? Oh, I don't know. The other 11 months, maybe. Yeah, you do have a pride, and we don't like to talk about that. Those words. That's not a good connotation. Let it be.
Yeah.
You know, I'm more of a Stones fan than the Beatles, but yeah, let it be. Just chill.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and the like things like the misogyny, and I've heard stories of racial gatekeeping
Oh
in
yeah,
comic books. All this stuff I don't see, and I think a lot of that, those are the collectors I talk about as the bro collectors. They're in it for the money. They want to flip
right.
books, make cash
Yeah.
real quick,
Hmm.
and capitalize on our culture.
Yeah,
Like, don't
definitely.
my culture is not your prom dress, right?
Right.
So, yeah, those guys kind of really irritate me.
Yeah.
Big pet peeve
I
of
mean,
mine.
I really do think though that I mean, and this is this is where I go with this. They also have a right to buy books. They
Right?
also have a right to
Yeah.
read books and like what they like and dislike what they dislike. Okay, but you don't have a right to come in here and tell me I'm shit because I like it, or anybody else. You don't have a right to do that. I will respect their rights to buy whatever they want and do whatever they want with it. Okay, but they got to respect my rights to run my store how I want to, and they have to respect everybody else's rights in here
Right.
because it's got to be reciprocal. And if somebody comes in and they're being like that and they don't respect other people in here, then they're just going to be asked to leave. It's just that easy.
The only exception is everybody's allowed to dislike John Carter of Mars.
They're allowed.
You're
Not, bro.
Ooh. All right. So we've got about 10 minutes left, and one thing that I also hear a lot of complaints about, and we've actually talked about it, is variants, man.
Mhm.
Variants killing our hobby. Like,
8 covers on Dark Crisis that I ordered.
ridiculous.
There's more than that.
I mean, and another one that we hit on, reboots.
Hmm.
Like the whole Daredevil thing. Like,
There's no
I
reason
cannot
for
get
another
over
number
this.
one. There's no reason.
Exact same.
It was selling out
Yeah,
at the end of that run. It was selling better as it went on,
yeah.
which you never see. So ride that momentum, man. Don't cancel it.
Well,
And
can
and
it
don't
be a reboot if you have the exact same creative team on the exact same
no,
title?
no.
Like, it's issue 37. Come on.
But then they're going to legacy number at issue 732 or whatever it is. But
Oh yeah,
now what I think they should have done is they should have kept that momentum rolling. They never should have done Daredevil Woman Without Fear. They should have done Daredevil 37 and had
yeah,
Elektra beat Daredevil for those 3 issues, and then they should have just kept it going. And they probably should have just done Devil's Reign in Daredevil. There's
yeah,
no reason to do Daredevil, cancel Daredevil, do Daredevil Woman Without Fear, do stop that at issue 3, do Devil's Reign, then stop that at issue 6, then Devil's Reign Omega, and then have that be a one shot, and then relaunch Daredevil with the exact same creators and the exact same storyline.
yeah.
There's no reason.
Like, nothing's changed in the universe.
No, it hasn't.
Like, we're coming out of Devil's Reign. We've got Elektra still in the picture, still wearing the suit.
Yeah,
Matt puts
makes no
on
sense.
his suit. There's no reason to
Matt,
reboot
you
it.
mean Daredevil's secret identity?
Nobody knows about that.
Charlie Cox. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. I mean, I wish they would just quit with the relaunches. That I mean, I always call DC the reboot company because every 4 or 5 years
Oh
they're
yeah,
like, different everything, and then I call reboot or Marvel the relaunch company because that's all they do is relaunch everything.
right.
And it's just I wish they would just quit doing that, and I wish I was talking earlier. I wish that DC would have a Batman and a detective book uninterrupted.
Yeah,
No relaunches, no reboots. A Batman book and a detective book.
right.
Okay, even after Crisis, they didn't relaunch Batman, the original Crisis.
Right.
They just kept it going. Everything was different, but they kept it going. Issue 404, issue 405, and they kept it going. They should have a Batman and a detective book. They should have an Action Comics, and a Superman. They should be $3.99.
Yeah.
They should have an annual that is $4.99 once a year, not staggered all year. That's stupid. They should have one Justice League book. They should have Sensation Comics with the legacy numbering, and then Wonder Woman.
Right.
That way you get all those other Wonder Woman characters in Sensation. They can have their stories. Wonder Girl, all that kind of stuff. You don't need to keep doing that. You should have a Young Justice book, one Teen Titans book, Robin, Nightwing, Lobo, and a couple others here and there. And they should not be miniseries. They should be ongoing. If you want to do miniseries, do it like they used to do. Do a 4-issue Wolverine series. If it sells well, then you do an ongoing.
I can't imagine that it really helps them as a company, because
it can't.
When you see Daredevil #1 with a final order cutoff with 9 covers, 9 open order covers on final order cutoff.
Yeah.
They're doing that because they know that there's completionists out there. They're going to buy every single one of those 9 covers. I'm guilty. I buy, like I've already said it, I buy 6 of every cover of Spawn.
Yeah.
The only reason I do that is I want to support Spawn, and I have to have every single cover.
Right. Yeah.
It's ridiculous, but
they know we're going to buy it.
And Spawn's a bad example because realistically, you buy 2 books. They were at 3, now they're at 2. If you want a sketch cover, I don't really consider those, but whatever.
Yeah.
Because I can't draw, so that does me no good at all.
It's a blank cover. That's not a sketch cover.
I still get my blank covers from you anyway, so whatever. I'm supporting my LCS at that point. But when you're talking about Daredevil 1's going to launch, and I'm a completionist. When I'm building a run, I have to have every single cover of every single book. My Defenders run, I completed the run, and I'm about halfway through picking up all the newsstands, so I can have the.
You just said that with your wife standing right there, right?
She doesn't care. The money for all this comes out of the business. So, so I get the direct and the newsstand of every single Defenders. That's how detailed I am in my obsession with these. So I'm going to get every single cover of Daredevil. They're not all great. Not all those covers are great. There's a couple. The Momoko's outstanding. Like, she can draw a Daredevil like nobody else.
I wouldn't know, because the last time I looked, they didn't have the images up yet.
There's a lot of that goes on. That's irritating.
How the hell are you supposed to order a cover if you don't know what it looks like?
Yeah. They're really bad with the Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
The Darth Vader.
You know what would fix that? One cover. Sorry.
Yeah.
Mean old man.
Like that last Star Wars cover that I was after, the Bad Batch one.
Mm-hmm.
This irritates the shit out of me, but I came in here, you got 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I was lucky enough to get one of those.
Yeah.
And
because the Lucasfilm ones traditionally don't sell at all.
Right, so you didn't order them.
So I didn't order them.
Yeah, you just ordered A covers.
Yeah.
So I was lucky to get one. You had one that was slightly damaged, and you know that's my thing anyway. So I got that cover.
You know a guy.
Yeah, I know a guy. So you hooked me up with that one, and I went down to the other place, grabbed one from them. And so I've got 2 of that cover. But they did the same thing. They didn't order any of those on open order, on final order cutoff, because there was there's no
demand for them, usually.
And nobody knew that Bad Batch was going to be on that cover.
Right.
If you had known that Bad Batch was going to be on that cover, you would have ordered 20 of them, because...
Same thing with Mandalorian. Do you know
Mandalorian cover.
Do you know why? Because they're creating collector's items. They're creating investments instead of creating comics.
Right. Which, I mean, and that's fine. If that's what you want to do, don't hide it. Just put on your final order cutoff, secret variant, or, something to pique people's interest and be like, oh, there's something special there.
Right. Yeah.
So that's why we have to have that.
I mean,
that also helps them sell the silver lined second print of that cover too,
if you can get them.
And final order cutoff is because they put final order cutoff for those books like final order cutoff for the silver ones, on at least for the Mandalorian one, was that Wednesday or that Monday before the gold border was released.
Came out. Yeah.
So we didn't even know.
Right. We didn't know what hype it was. We didn't know what was going on.
We just knew they were doing a second cover. So that shows you right there that they're just doing it to create a collector.
And then what do you do with the 30 cover A's that you have left?
Right.
What do you do with that? How many of those silver ones do you, is that investment trend dead by the time they actually ship those to you a few weeks later? Do people care anymore? Has the first print gone down to $5 instead of the $50 spec?
Right.
Are people not going to buy it because it is a second print? Because that happens a lot too.
I mean, I sold one of the Mandalorian ones this morning for $10.
It was way more than that when it came out.
Yeah, it was like $30.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually bought those off the internet, and I think I paid like $8 a piece for them.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm really making any money on that.
No.
But yeah, it's ridiculous. And what I was gonna say is, so I'm gonna buy all those Daredevil covers when they come out because I'm a completionist. I want all of those open order covers.
You're telling me to update your hold right now, aren't you? I got you.
But what happens then is, so Daredevil releases in 2 weeks. What else releases that day that I'm not buying because I'm buying 9 covers of Daredevil?
And how many other covers are going to be coming out for Daredevil 1?
Oh, there's going to be 40,
and
50.
How does Marvel advertise those covers?
They don't.
Well, they advertise them incorrectly. Like this Fortnite thing, where they were advertising the Spider-Man Secret Wars cover that doesn't exist. That's not a cover. They sent this press release out, and they had a cover that was an homage cover to Secret Wars 8. And it said Fortnite X Marvel Night Zero Night X Fort Point, or what the cover. I don't know what it is. But I'm relaying what 8-year-olds have been calling for the last week are calling. But it's they put that thing out. I had 3 separate people come in Wednesday saying, "Oh, do you have the Secret Wars homage cover?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And then I looked on Diamond, no such thing. I looked on Random House, no such thing. I looked on the internet, and that's the image they sent out to all the news outlets. And what it was is telling people to buy that book so they could download, this creeps me out every time I say it, but the human skin. Get your own human skins of someone else. And so they could download those damn skins.
Right.
And that's the image that they were using to promote it, and it doesn't exist. And then you come back to this. I tried to reorder more of them because everybody's ordering them like crazy. They're all on back order at Diamond. And then I get a press release from Random House that said, "Hey, we got a bunch of these left." Well, then send them to the other distributor when we order them then. Why do I have to do a special order with you? Just make them available or don't. Quit holding them back. And that, again, is to hurt that distribution. So there we are, full circle of pain.
Right. I don't know, honestly, we could go on forever about pet peeves. And
yeah, we could. We probably will as soon as this stops. We'll probably just sit here all day and do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, says Cat.
There's just so... I mean, but there are great things that happen in our community, in our hobby.
There are fantastic things that happen.
We're going to... That's going to be our palate cleanser next week. Let's discuss about things that we really like about our hobby.
I'll try and look for some stuff. No.
We'll find something hanging about.
Yeah. I mean, again, we're doing this on the internet. The internet is grumpy, angry time. So let's make it happy yay time.
So I grabbed this. Are they going to be here?
Yes.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Yep.
Okay. So at the time we're recording this, there we go. It's Thursday. So tomorrow the creators...
No, Saturday. I'm sorry. Saturday. Today's Friday.
Today's Friday.
Jesus.
Good Lord. So the creators are going to be here, and we're going to have them sign all these, because as a community here in Utah, we do a lot of charity work with the comic books. Everything from Bleak Haven's work with Stand for the Silent, your work with American Cancer Society, and that type of stuff. So we'll go over some of that and talk about some of the good things that we do, mm-hmm. some of the good things that we like about comics, and
that will smile more.
What a good lead into C3. How about you do that?
Okay. All right. So,
thanks for joining. Everything is late, and nobody dies.
Ever. I can't believe you just took that out of the bag. That very expensive book. Wow. DNA from...
That's right. So I can clone myself and get some sleep for once.
If you'd like this thing clean, pressed, and slabbed, leave a comment down below.
Or if you'd like me clean, pressed, and slabbed.
And remember to like, comment, and subscribe.
And ring that bell.
Ring that bell. See you next time, traders.
That was so manly.